So now let's talk about some of the inclusion efforts that really work. And these pointers have been taken from an article by the Harvard Business Review, which we will be linking for you in the project section of this course. And the first one that we have is collect, count, and compare. Basically, set goals, collect data, and examine change over time, and in comparison to other organizations. This is something that we do for all kinds of metrics and for all kinds of other targets like profits or margins or bottom lines. So why not do this for diversity and inclusion as well? By collecting and analyzing data on diversity over time and comparing these numbers to other organizations within your compare group, you can use these to convince your key stakeholders in your companies to increase their accountability and transparency around diversity issues. The second one that we have over here is deploy alternative complaint systems. It is, I think, a well-known fact that complaining about discrimination and harassment can lead to some type of retaliation. Any worker who complains about harassment is more likely to end up facing career challenges or being marginalized from their peer group. So something clearly needs to change in the way complaint forums are created. Therefore, make sure that you have safe spaces for people to compare. And the key to this type of shift is changing leadership mindsets from seeing complaints as threats to valuing them as insights that can spark positive organizational change. The third one, which is something which is really pertinent to the world of today, is to test for biased technology. Technology is ubiquitous in the workplace today. It holds powerful potential to increase efficiency, but there's also a concern that technologies can reproduce or even exacerbate group-based inequalities, whether by race, gender, or other social categories. It's really important to keep testing the kind of technological solutions that you have implemented, for example, in corporate screenings, hirings, evaluations, etc., to make sure that they are fair to all kinds of socio-demographic groups. The next one that we have is to be aware of small n problems. And what we mean by this is that sometimes the way we think and perceive others can also hamper progress. So group size is something which is very, very important. When individuals belong to groups that are seriously underrepresented in the organizational context, such as racial minorities or women or other social categories, they may be subjected to stereotype-based evaluations or tokenism. It's really important for us to not create token policies, but rather real, deeper change that allows us to take out the negative consequences for both individual workers and the larger organization as a whole. So what can be done to combat these problems? Well, in addition to increasing the representation of particular groups, the company can also provide more visibility for a larger number and diverse set of underrepresented individuals through opportunities for presentation or internally as well as conferences, a way for them to chair various fora, etc. And that can go a long way to shift how this bias impacts our behavior. The next one that we have is, I think, fairly intuitive, which is always involve managers right from the start. Organizations are complex beings and they have different internal logics, cultures, and dynamics. By involving your managerial strata right from the beginning, you will get their buy-in from day one, and you will also be able to gather a lot of feedback about how your policies are being perceived or implemented at the ground level. So please go ahead and read up a lot more about this complex topic, but making some of these small efforts can reap large benefits for the overall workplace diversity in your company.